The story of Caitlin Clark and Kate Martin is not just about basketball, it's about survival, loyalty, and the quiet power of friendship in a league that rarely forgives weakness. When Kate Martin recently opened up about how Caitlin Clark saved her career, it sent shockwaves through the WNBA. The revelation wasn't just emotional, it exposed the hidden realities of what it takes to survive in professional basketball when the lights fade and the cameras turn away. Kate's voice trembled as she recounted those early days in Las Vegas. On paper, she was living the dream, a promising rookie drafted by the reigning champions, the Las Vegas Aces. But in reality, she was trapped in a system that didn't see her. Night after night, she suited up only to watch from the sidelines as the stars took center stage. Behind Aja Wilson's dominance and the Aces' rigid rotation, there was no oxygen for growth. Her talent wasn't doubted, but it was muted, overshadowed by hierarchy, timing, and a culture that rewarded legacy over hunger. The WNBA can be cruel that way. It doesn't just test your skill, it tests your soul. Then, one night when the silence grew too heavy, Kate made a phone call. On the other end was Caitlin Clark, the player who'd taken the league by storm. The same woman who once dropped 40 points in high school games like it was routine. The same friend who had once been her anchor back at Iowa. Kate poured out everything, the frustration, the confusion, the gnawing fear that maybe she just wasn't built for this. Caitlin listened quietly at first, then cut through the noise with one line that changed everything. "You're not failing. They're failing you." That sentence became a lifeline. It reframed everything Kate thought she knew about failure. Caitlin reminded her of what they'd built together at Iowa, a culture of trust, connection, and shared energy. Back then, no one questioned her value. She was seen, heard, and trusted. In Vegas, she was invisible. Caitlin's words planted a seed that would soon grow into something much bigger. Sometimes leaving isn't quitting, it's survival. When the Golden State Valkyries selected Kate Martin in the expansion draft, it wasn't just a transaction, it was rebirth. From the moment she stepped into the Chase Center, everything felt different. The fans weren't there for names, they were there for effort. The roar of the crowd wasn't tied to fame, but to hustle. There was no hierarchy, no veterans guarding minutes like secrets, no walls blocking growth. For the first time in her pro career, Kate could breathe. She wasn't the overlooked rookie anymore. She was a foundational piece of something new. Head coach Natalie Nassi saw what others missed. She didn't need Kate to score 30 points a night. She needed her to set the tone. In Golden State, heart mattered more than highlight reels. Hustle was currency. Communication was leadership. Kate thrived because she was finally allowed to be herself, the glue player who holds everything together when chaos threatens to tear it apart. Every box out, every rotation, every dive for a loose ball became her declaration to the league: I belong. But that doesn't erase the sting of rejection. Being left unprotected in the expansion draft hurts. It feels personal. It's the league's way of saying, we can do without you. Yet instead of breaking her, Kate used that moment as fuel. She joined a team that didn't care about ego, only effort. Golden State didn't just give her a role, they gave her a voice. And that's when she began to evolve, not just as a player, but as a leader. To truly understand her rise, you have to go back to where it all started, the University of Iowa. Before Caitlin Clark was a national headline, and before Kate Martin was a professional athlete, they were just two competitors who found a rare kind of rhythm together. Iowa basketball was quiet back then. The crowds weren't sold out, the cameras weren't always rolling. But that changed the moment Caitlin and Kate stepped onto the court together. Caitlin was electricity, deep threes, fiery energy, and unmatched confidence. Kate was gravity, steady, composed, and essential. Together, they turned Iowa into a powerhouse. Their chemistry wasn't something coaches could teach. It was instinctual, born out of trust. Caitlin's audacity needed Kate's stability. Kate's steadiness needed Caitlin's fire. When the world was busy watching Clark break records, Kate was the one holding the structure together, making the extra pass, setting the crucial screen, calming her team when the pressure hit boiling point. Their connection reached its peak in the 2023 Final Four against South Carolina, a game that felt less like basketball and more like a war zone of nerves and willpower. Caitlin was the star, yes, but it was Kate who steadied the ship. She didn't need headlines. She just needed to make sure Iowa stayed alive long enough for Caitlin's brilliance to shine. By the final buzzer, The world saw Caitlin as the hero, but inside that locker room, everyone knew Kate was the heartbeat. That dynamic, the storm and the anchor, followed them into the pros. Caitlin exploded onto the WNBA scene, instantly becoming the face of the league. Meanwhile, Kate quietly tried to find her footing. But when she found herself lost in Las Vegas's suffocating hierarchy, it was Caitlin's voice again that brought her back. Their relationship wasn't about fame or headlines. It was built on years of sweat, sacrifice, and mutual belief. Caitlin knew Kate's worth long before anyone else did, and when the world seemed to forget, she reminded her. The truth is, the WNBA is a battlefield unlike any other. The physicality is brutal, the competition relentless. There are no weak players, no easy matchups. Every night, you're facing someone who's been dominating the sport for a decade. Rookies don't get to fail quietly. One bad stretch and your career can disappear. Kate learned that the hard way. In college, she had room to make mistakes. In Vegas, she had none. She had to be perfect in every 5-minute stretch she was given. And perfection under pressure is exhausting. What fans often forget is that being benched doesn't just affect your game. It affects your identity. You start questioning everything, your confidence, your value, your purpose. For Kate, that isolation became suffocating. But that's what made Caitlin's call so powerful. It reminded her that her story wasn't over. It reminded her